Seems it's time to start the show. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing tonight? This is Monkey in the Morning. I'm the Ranting Monkey. And goddamn am I tired. Hi, guys. Hope you're well. I'm so tired. I just want to sleep. Oh, my sleep has been so broken today and for the last probably 4 days. And it's catching up to me. I have literally no energy. If it wasn't for this show, I would be in bed right now begging for sleep. But we got a show to do, and that's what we're gonna do. Because I'm a good. I feel like I titled this "Phoning It In." I'm not actually gonna phone it in because it's not in me. I'd shut the show down rather. But I do feel like when I used to work a real job, and you're just really tired, and like I don't want to go to work today, but I don't have a good reason not to. As you just go and you go through the motions. So glad I don't have a job like that anymore because that was hard to do. This is easier to do because I enjoy what I'm doing and this is more fun. Although I will tell you right off the bat, I don't have a lot to talk about. I've seen a couple of stories. Jack sent me a couple of stories, and hopefully he'll be along here shortly. But even then, there's not that much to talk about with either of the stories. Do cocaine, your kids are grown, so nothing to worry about. Oh, that's awesome. I feel like I'm a little too old for cocaine, if I'm being honest with you. My chance to ever try something like that is long past. If you try coke for the first time in your 50s, you're just sad. You're just kind of sad. He doesn't have cocaine money. That is true as well. I don't even have crack money, dude. So let's get into what I do have. Oh, wait, hang on. Jack, my friend, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Tired, but otherwise well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I apologize for my tardiness. Had to take care of a few things.
Hey, we've been friends for a long time. I just expect you to be hard.
Ouch.
Come on, that was great. That was I knocked that one out. I even set it up and delivered the line well.
You did very, very well, and that's what hurt the most is I didn't think of that first.
Oh my god. Jack, I was just telling the audience there's not even a whole lot to talk about tonight. So it's gonna be one of those nights where we just kind of talk about whatever.
Yeah,
I did see the one video you sent of and we can bring it up and talk about it. I don't really necessarily want to watch the video because it's mostly just James O'Keefe talking about what's talked about.
yeah.
So we'll bring this up on the screen so that we can discuss what's going on. What's his thing called now? OMG News or something like that? What just
Yeah,
happened?
O'Keefe Media Group, something like that.
What was that?
I don't know. What was what?
My computer just dinged at me for something. I don't fucking know.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's the Jack's Awesome bell. It rings whenever I do something awesome. And I was probably doing something awesome.
oh no. I wasn't even online. Uh Jack is awesome. That's what we're gonna go with. How about that?
Ouch. That's the story we're gonna go with, you guys. Just humor him.
Just humor him. Okay, so
Kinda
on our
guarded.
on our screen we have Nicholas Terza, Department of Defense Branch Chief. And I'll be honest with you, Jack. I don't know what a fucking Department of Defense branch chief. Do they have branches of the Department of Defense?
Apparently.
It's like
Um, maybe like each one oversees part of the military or secret operations or some shit. I don't know. This dude looks like he walked out of the Minecraft game. He's got a square head.
he's can we talk about how this keeps happening to these people? I don't understand it. Look at you. You should not be on a date with any chick that you're going to be talking, government secrets or anything, right? You should be lucky if you're pulling like a 3 and you should be telling her what kind of nerdy pursuits you're into. But somehow these guys always get caught on camera because some love interest, because they have had a gay one once, but some love interest is like, I really like you. And they're like, they must really like me. I'm going to tell them all the worst parts about my political beliefs. Nothing could possibly come from this. And I'm shocked every time we see one of these videos, Jack.
These people are arrogant, and not all of them are terribly smart. So
They're kind of retarded, if I'm being honest.
well, they like to brag about usurping the evil mastermind that is Trump, apparently.
So anyway, this guy somehow works with the Department of Defense, and he goes on this date with a chick who's clearly setting you up, dude.
Yeah.
She's asking him questions like, "Oh, so do you work for Pete Hegseth?" And he's like, "Well, I know Pete. I know Pete. I was in the guard with Pete." By the way, according to James O'Keefe, the Pentagon came out and went, "That's bullshit. Pete doesn't know this guy from Adam." Which doesn't mean they never met, Jack. It just means that he remembers Hegseth more than Hegseth remembers him.
Yeah,
Well, if you were in the guard with Hegseth, there were probably hundreds, if not thousands, of men involved. Sounds like a night at Mike Harlow's place. Sorry, Mike.
That's a hell of a party, Mike.
But if you're in one of those situations, like you go on and you become famous, and then the person that met you that was, oh wait, I know that guy. And so in their mind, they remember you, and you don't know who they were because they never became famous. That's just Bob who worked in receiving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless you're drinking buddies or something like that, you're not going to remember this dude.
Yeah, and why would you? Why would you? So I don't want to say he's never met Hegseth, but it doesn't really matter. What does matter is what he says here, in that he says he's going to resist Trump and Trump's policies.
Why they all talk like cultists?
Yeah, they do. I do see the donation. Sorry, I was doing stuff in the background as I was chatting there. So I will get both those donations. Thank you, Circus Zero. Appreciate it, my friend. Coke would probably only increase your pain and being a pain to Lady Monkey, LOL. You're probably right about that. You probably are. I've never heard of anybody like, I took cocaine and became the most awesome person. Well, okay, they think that while they're on it, but as they look back, like, man, that was the best I'd ever been as a person. And Black Dynamite, thank you. Monk, what do you think about Shannon Sharpe? We'll get to Shannon Sharpe in just a little bit. Short version until we get there, I think that that chick was trying to pull an Ashley St. Clair.
No.
And I'll leave it at that. With this guy, I mean, again, I don't know what a branch chief does, so I don't know what kind of control he has to be able to resist Trump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I imagine there's ways he could be obstructionist.
But he says that they're trying to make a populist conservative nation. Like, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, what?
It's really stupid, but the bigger picture to me is, how do these people keep getting caught on tape like this?
They're dumb, dude. You got somebody who's got a shitty bureaucratic job that may be fairly high up and has a sense of power but unappreciated in their own mind, because they're all legends in their own mind. Find somebody that is flirting with them and they can't resist. They just start talking.
Yeah, and let's see. Can we find a place where he's talking? I say James O'Keefe loves himself and loves to see himself on camera, so we get a lot of him in the little Twitter videos he puts out.
Yeah.
True that Hegseth has not ever heard of this man or seen him.
Okay.
But what do you think the intent is? Is it like they want to hurt America?
I think they don't care who they hurt.
Okay, you are so ugly that voice from that chick, I don't know what she looks like. I don't know who she is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is way too cute sounding a voice for how ugly you are. Your date should sound like you need to check the undercarriage to make sure that it's an innie and not an outie.
Are you from Thailand? That's number one.
That question should have sounded like, what do you think they want to do?
Yeah, she's clearly way above this dude's pay grade.
Anyway.
to enact a change that they see making America in a populist conservative framework.
How do you go on a first date with somebody you picked up on Tinder or Grinder or whatever he likes, and you're having this deep of a conversation about political intrigue? Why is this not a red flag to this guy?
I don't know.
Do you think they want to hurt America? I don't think they care who they hurt. I think they want to make a populist conservative. Who talks like that on a first date?
Well, people do ask weird shit on a first date. It's not like
Fine.
it used to be. I don't know. Times
You-
have changed. People are dumber and more annoying, and they want to know how much money you make, what kind of job you do, and they ask you all sorts of weird shit.
Why the crossed arm body language? Because he's trying to puff himself up. This isn't an angry one. This is a puff out your chest one. It's kind of like when the women push their boobies together.
Yeah, he's trying to look masculine here.
Yes. Maybe it took him hours to get this. It's a first date in a restaurant. What? Don't people try to like get laid anymore? Did he think he was going to get laid with? Oh, she hate Trump. I'm gonna get in there.
Probably.
Oh, God, these guys are. How can you guys be men? I'm talking to you right now. Stop being stupid. I don't care if you're left or right. You go on a first date and the chick starts diving into your job and how much you hate Trump. Maybe check her purse for a camera.
Yeah. Well, if you work for the government or you're a defense contractor or have some kind of position of power, like if you were a cop and you're on a date and some chick's like, "When's shift change?"
Right?
That should be a red flag, you know. Like maybe there's gonna be some crime committed. Like what districts aren't patrolled heavily and have the laziest officers? She might be a spy for a cartel. You know, just off the top of my head.
Donald Cam, thank you for that feminist $12. Says, happy late birthday, my friend. Thank you so very much. It's very kind. Appreciate it. I feel like these people are so oblivious that the chick could be wearing a GoPro helmet and they'd be like, no, she seemed normal to me.
Seen weirder shit.
This guy should be fired. He's talking about openly defying the Trump agenda.
Well, it's his commander in chief. You can't be insubordinate like that and expect to keep your job.
Yep, he should be fired for this. I'm not shocked by it, unfortunately, and this is how deep the rot goes. When you become a government employee, I know you thought it was just to sit there and pick your nose and get paid, but you do kind of have to go along with what the guy in charge is telling you.
Yeah, you don't have to like it, but
Yeah.
that's kind of your job.
And he's not talking about, because like in the military, you swear to follow the orders of the president, but it's the lawful orders of the president.
Yeah.
He's not even talking about like, oh, Trump is trying to make us do illegal shit. He's just like, I'm going to resist because he's too conservative.
And he's Hitler. He's a mean old bad man.
And I just want to remind people, if you think Trump is too conservative, you probably need a helicopter ride.
Yeah, you filthy commie.
The man is not a conservative.
No.
He's just not. All right. Anyway, our ugly big nose friend here, he didn't get anything out of this except embarrassed and probably an unemployment check.
Dumbass.
How do they keep getting caught with this shit? I don't understand.
People are dumb. That's pretty much the entire thing is stupidity and thirst for the booty.
I don't get it. Maybe it's just I've had too much access to booty being all cute and charming my whole life.
Yeah, show off. Make all of us uggos feel bad.
I just don't get it, man. I would be suspicious even before the age of the internet, right? If I went on a date and the chick just starts digging into politics, I'd be like, this isn't going to work out because I'm not looking for a debate partner.
Yeah.
You talk about your family, your friends, your hobbies, your maybe even your job a little bit. You don't delve deep into it. It's first date. It's casual. God, the world has changed. Oh well. What else we
Dark
got
times,
today?
man. Dark times.
Dark times indeed. You brought the story about them changing Spider-Man's background, and I feel like you did that just to upset me.
Um, I can neither confirm nor deny that. It made me mad. So
We're just going to touch on this one briefly, Jack. They are retconning Peter Parker's origin story, not the Spider-Man story, the Peter Parker story, to where he was a troubled kid who used to sneak around and look at nudie magazines and steal beer.
yeah, little troublemaker.
And in the one that pissed me off the most is when he talks shit to Uncle Ben and Aunt May.
Yeah, little troublemaker. He's a piece of shit.
They're trying to turn him into a kid who had a troubled past. Like, oh
No, he's just some nerd. Come on. Stop trying to make it something it's not, you guys. They hate Peter Parker at Marvel. That's all there is to it. They hate that he's popular, so they've been slowly deconstructing him and rewriting him for a decade now. And they're trying to purposely destroy him so they can make Miles Morales or one of the other useless characters into the real Spider-Man.
I just saw it, and my first thought was, oh, a fat lesbian must have wrote this.
No, it's a feminist dude.
Same thing. I said what I said.
You're not wrong. It's just the lesbian part.
The reason Peter Parker and Spider-Man work is because he was bullied and he finally gets this power and he still can't show it.
Yeah.
There's a great early issue of that where he finally, after he's got his spider powers, decides him and Flash Thompson are going to get in. They're going to get in the boxing ring and fight. And right as they go to punch each other, a robot breaks in and Peter punches Flash, pulls his punch, but still knocks him out. And everybody's like, you snuck him. You hit him when he was distracted.
Yeah. They all accused him of sucker punching.
Yeah. And the whole idea is that the Spider-Man thing is freeing for him because he gets to go out there and not be that bullied kid anymore. And when you make him an asshole from the beginning, you lose that connection. We talked about this with the stuff we were talking about yesterday, Jack, with kids and their imaginations. This is the kind of shit we get when you have writers who grew up without ever using their imagination.
Yeah, it's unoriginal. It's lazy. To the extent that it's hackneyed. Like, this is...
Oh, God.
This is pathetic.
And I'm not going to put it on the screen, but the artwork is trash.
Of course it is.
I'm so tired of seeing all of these straight edge drawings where everything is pointed and either pointed or blocky. And it's ugly. I don't like it.
Oh yeah, it's an incredibly ugly art style. And that's what they have now. They hired a lot of artists off Tumblr years ago, and they're still kicking around for some fucking reason. And that's what they think people want. They said this is what you're getting. This is what our audience produces. So yeah, they don't give a damn.
All right, let's talk about the Shannon Sharp thing. I don't want to bring the messages up on screen because they're kind of gross, but some text messages leaked. For those of you who missed yesterday's show or have missed this story, a woman has come out, a 20-year-old OnlyFans model, or she was 20 when they started dating. I still haven't figured that part out. Shannon Sharp is 56 now, and they've been dating for a couple of years, since 2023. And she claimed that in October of last year and January of this year, he threatened to hit her, and instead of hitting her, butt raped her. Again, I say, what an escalation. Fuck. I'm going to hit you. Never mind, butt rape it is. Maybe that happened somewhere in the world, but I feel like that alone was enough to question the story, Jack.
Yeah, you don't normally go straight to butt stuff.
No.
Unless you're in prison or something. That's still very homosexual. I don't know. It's very odd.
But when you go from I'm either going to hit you or anally rape you, I feel like there's something was left out.
I mean, yeah, there definitely seems to be something missing there.
Well, some of her texts to Shannon were released, and I feel like I shouldn't read these. One of them says, "Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever then you can do whatever you want to me.
What?
If you put that baby gravy in me, you can do whatever you want to me."
Well, that plan backfired since it went in her butt.
Yeah, she didn't. She should have been more specific of where that baby gravy should have went.
Yeah, because if you say stuff like that, it implies, you can do whatever, including the butt stuff.
Well, here's another one. She said, "That's my daddy. Fuck, I want you to put a big black baby in me." Are you guys noticing a pattern of what this woman wants?
I think she wants to steal his seed.
I think she wants to steal his bank account.
Yeah, his seed.
This is like an Ashley St. Clair thing.
Yeah, it's a little more blatant, I think.
Well, we haven't seen their text. She might have been quoting Ashley here for all we know.
Oh, that's a fair point, but I would hope that Ashley's a little better at, making flowery language out of the act.
Here's one. "I want to put my tongue in your asshole and then marry you."
Well, her tongue's in his asshole?
I guess.
Because that's a weird ceremony I do not want to go to. Not in the house of the Lord. That seems like that's a sacrilege. Like, they're doing the prayer for the Virgin Mary, and some chick's got her tongue in a dude's asshole.
She also says, "You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me." She really wants a giant kid.
Yeah, but I don't know. Giganticism doesn't seem the way to go. Bit harsh to wish that on a baby.
Now, for the record, this doesn't mean that he didn't do what she claims in a lawsuit instead of to the police for $50 million. But it is one of those things, Jack, where we can look at evidence and go, okay, if you forced me right now to decide whether or not this happened, whether or not her story's bullshit, I'm siding with bullshit.
It definitely looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, this looks like she was trying to find this was her get rich quick scheme, is to have Shannon Sharpe knock her up.
Well, he knocked it up her booty. Does that count?
Literally say you can do whatever you want to me if you put that baby gravy in me.
Baby gravy just sounds very crass. Like,
yeah,
butter in your muffin is a little weird. I don't like food analogies for sex that much. I think they're odd. Yeah, well, that's something you say as a joke, not as serious.
You hear the term baby batter a lot more, and the alliteration works better than baby gravy.
Yeah, because baby gravy sounds like somebody's going to eat it later. I don't know. There's just something like, if your spooge is that thick that it's mistaken for gravy, you should probably go to a doctor.
I mean, same for batter, honestly.
Yeah, but at least batter, you're mixing it up, if you know what I'm saying. But baby gravy, what, you're mashing a potato? That's Jave Carapy territory. I don't want to be associated with retard bangers. No.
Well, the one where she says she wants to stick her tongue in his butt, that's from January of last year. None of these are from after the alleged incidents. So again, maybe she's got one going, "I said you could do anything, but I didn't mean butt stuff." You know what I mean?
Anything for love, but she won't do that.
Won't do that. Won't do that. I'm calling bullshit on this one for now, because I think she's just a gold digger. She tried getting her hooks into him. It would be absolutely hilarious if Shannon had a vasectomy. If it was like, "Yeah, I'll pump the baby gravy in you. I can put it in your butt if I do that. Sure, why not?" But yeah, I don't believe this woman at all, especially after reading those, because that's just insane. She was just looking for a baby daddy so she didn't have to do her OnlyFans work anymore. She could get a respectable job of being a stay-at-home hoe.
Yeah, yeah. So far, I'm not convinced.
And
That seems there's a lot off here that's not convincing me at all.
and can we talk about the rise of stars who have decided that their best place to find women is on like Instagram or OnlyFans? Like, gentlemen, what the fuck are you doing? Do you not care about your bank account at all?
Apparently,
I mean, I know people find love in special places, but I've never heard of, athlete marries OnlyFans model and lives happily ever after.
yeah, that doesn't seem to be the theme. It's usually they divorce within a couple of years, and she takes him to the cleaners.
Thank you, Corey, who says that's a whole new meaning to bangers and mash, indeed. And Amazing Disgrace, thank you. I heard there was a birthday from P Dog. Happy birthday, whoever had a birthday. Me and Jack have both recently had birthdays. Mine was the most recent, and that was yesterday.
Yeah,
But thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, I'm tired of these OnlyFans hoes, man.
there seem to be a lot of them too, because women have been convinced that being a whore is respectable somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
most of you are not making enough money because you're mid at best.
Well, they had that movie that swept all the awards this year about sex work. I forget what it was called.
Pretty Woman.
No.
Oh.
And when they get up there, everybody who won an award on it is like, I'd like to thank the sex workers. Sex work is real work.
Real hoary work. Nobody respects a whore. It's just hardwired into us.
Andra, is that what it's called? I forget. Yeah, I know it was some weird. It's a weird looking movie, and it's about this hooker who's hired to hang out with a drug dealer's son or something like that. Or she falls in love with him at a club, and he's like, it's okay. I forget the exact thing. I remember watching the clip or the trailer from it and going, that looks like some stupid shit I'd never watch. But Hollywood being Hollywood was like, wait, we can promote degeneracy? Let's do that.
Right? They're all on board. They got to take their dicks out of 10-year-olds long enough to make the movie, though.
Yeah, and it is amazing how many women have been celebrated throughout the years. And I didn't even realize it until the conversations about this movie came up. How many have been celebrated for playing whores, just dirty whores throughout the years?
Lots of them, from Jodie Foster all the way up to Julia Roberts.
Yep. And winning Academy Awards for hooker work. And now they're like, sex work is real work. And I get why they think that, because a lot of those women did sex work to get the roles, but it's not real work. I mean, it's real work in the sense that somebody's paying you for your hole there, and they get to use it for a little bit of time. But it's not like, retarring a roof or something.
Yeah. It's not backbreaking work.
It's real work. It's some of the easiest shit you can do, especially as a woman. You can lay there and be a hooker. Literally just lay there and be a hooker.
Yeah, you're probably gonna get plowed by somebody like Boogie.
Sure.
But, you gotta learn to take it. You filthy hoe.
It's not like it's really hard work. But speaking of really hard work,
but we were just talking about butt stuff.
Let's take a look at what's going on in Colorado, Jack. Fuck is wrong with people? Why do we keep having to have these conversations? Understatement, thank you for the reading. I'm most elated because everyone is calling bullshit and the Me Too thing isn't kicking in. Hiring a lawyer known for sex cases didn't help. Yeah, I didn't even see who the lawyer was involved in this. Isn't Lanny Davis representing Shannon? I think I saw his name. But yeah, she might as well have just came out and said, I'm just in it for the money, because her story is ridiculously unbelievable. But there was a time when that would work. I mean, during the Me Too movement, how many of those stories did we see? They're like, that That's bullshit. I'm just calling bullshit. The Aziz Ansari one is probably the easiest one. He asked me to do it. I said no, so we didn't. Can you believe he asked me again? Yeah, because I'm a guy.
Son of a bitch.
Like, he kept asking, so I sucked it a little bit, and then I was like, no, I'm done. And so he stopped. Can you believe it? Like every time she told him no, then he didn't like force her to do it. And she's like, can you believe how abused I was? Yeah. Because he was literally doing the no means no thing. But no means no does not mean you can't ask again, Jack. Anyway, Sex Ed Summer Camp coming to you from Colorado, Jack. I believe it was in Boulder, if I remember correctly. Boulder Valley. There it is. Boulder Valley Healthcare. They're having a sex ed camp, a summer sex ed camp for 5th through 8th graders.
What?
Yep. Where they will talk about things such as pleasure in all sorts of ways. That is what it says on this flyer.
Is this a child rape camp? Like, do we have to stage some kind of rescue mission for these kids?
This is what I was talking about. How many times do we have to talk about how inappropriate this is?
Well, obviously the pedos are going to keep trying.
The 5th and 6th graders will go together, and then the 7th and 8th graders, the first day is for the teachers who show up first, and the second day, hey, you were late, you get the older kids.
Yeah.
Early bird gets the worm, if you get my meaning. Wink, wink.
Fucking hell.
At the bottom it says why? Because all humans, especially young humans, what a way to describe children.
Yeah, that's well, they used to try and call them purple penguins. I don't know if you remember that nonsense.
Oh, yes. Because all humans, especially young humans, deserve information about their bodies, other people's bodies, and that part right there really wait, other people's bodies. It'd be one thing if you were teaching them about their bodies, which I still think is kind of weird for 5th graders. But
it's pretty creepy.
Yeah,
let's talk about your body. Take your shirt off, Billy. Oh, fucking
when
creep.
you're talking 5th and 6th graders, that is 10 and 11 years old. That is prepubescent. Thank you, Save Yourself. Who knew you could just advertise for child? What does that say? SMEX. Okay. You're getting around the YouTube thing, aren't you? Child SMEX victims to pay to show up to your group camps. Stupid edits for YouTube block policy. See, I caught on to what you were doing there. Ha. No, they've made it okay for them to just be like, hey, come to our pedo camp. But anyway, it goes on there at the bottom, say they deserve to learn about their bodies, other people's bodies, and how to communicate about them in ways that feel fun, wait for it, affirming, and exciting. If you send your children to a sex ed camp that in the flyer uses the word exciting anywhere, you belong in jail too.
If you send your kid to this either way, you deserve to be in jail. You don't get to be like, oh my God, my child was diddled. No, because you sent them there to be diddled, you fucking pervert.
Yeah. One of the things that's on here that's not highlighted, after it says teaching them about pleasure in all sorts of ways, it then specifically mentions self-love.
Yep. Right there. They're going to make the kids touch themselves in front of them. And then, well, try that on me now. What? No. No pervert. No. Bad pervert. Bad.
They're going to have conversations with 10-year-olds about beating off. I'd rather go to a seizure camp. Can you imagine being the kid and your mom's like, look what I signed you up for. Like, I don't want to get touched again, Mom.
No shit. Like, you hate your children if you send them to this. You're a fucking monster.
Sex ed summer camp, learning ourselves and our world. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
I think we all know.
Stop pushing sex on kids. They're 10. The oldest of this group would be 13, maybe
Yeah,
14.
They're probably too old for some of the counselors there, but
Yeah,
these
these counselors are like, wait, we got to check pubic hair status before you come in.
Yeah, how does this not sound like a rape camp? Like, in what conceivable part of their brain are they thinking like, oh yeah, it's totally fine for my kid? No, it sounds like your kid's gonna get raped.
Thank you, Dangerous. I will stick my tongue in your ass and then you can marry me. Damn it, that's not what an engagement ring is. Now, from one story of degeneracy to the next, what is wrong with people? Degeneracy. That's you said the word. I mean, we're raising a bunch of degenerates and we're encouraging a bunch of degeneracy.
Yeah.
Again, I don't give a rat's ass what you do in your own basement or your own
You leave my
place
basement out of this.
with consenting adults. Knock yourself out. I don't give a shit. Leave the kids alone and stop fucking talking about it. I don't need to know what your fucking crazy kink is. But we've made it where, I mean, do you remember just a couple of years ago when there were finally at least a couple of liberals who were going, hey, stop taking kids to Pride. Stop taking kids to places where naked ladies are laying in blow-up pools and allowing strangers to piss on them. And the response was, hey, my kink is part of my identity. I'm sure it is, but it's a part that you need to keep away from the rest of us. Because
oh no, these are exhibitionists and perverts.
Yes, they're perverts. It's what it is. And it's being touted as freeing and empowering. Like, no, you're a fucking degenerate. I don't need to know anything about your sex life. Literally nothing about it is important to society unless you're touching kids, and then we need to know about it so we can, well, turn on the wood chipper. Otherwise, if it's you and consenting adults, nobody needs to know about it.
No, but there's the exhibitionist factor and the attempt to normalize pedos.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. They want to make children be seen as sexual objects so that it's not weird when they go to touch them or seduce them. It's disgusting and it needs to be stopped.
And can we also talk about the fact that they want these kids to be there by 8:30 a.m. and they're there until 3:30? Those poor kids are going to be so sore by the end of this.
Well, yeah, I mean, they probably have some on-site medical professionals to help change their gender and stitch them up.
Let's take a guess, Jack. If you had to guess how many kids who go to this camp, either beforehand or after the camp, come out identifying as trans, give me a percentage, because my percentage is at least 45.
I'd go 20% are going to be trans, and 40% are going to get diddled in some way.
Yeah, so fuck these weirdos, leave kids alone, and don't advertise you know what? Do advertise your pedo camp so we can find you and arrest you.
Yeah, this is disgusting. I'm so sick of seeing this shit too, because why is this so permissible that they can blatantly advertise it?
Well, again, this all goes back to psychology and how it's been so desperately abused in the pursuit of abusing children.
Yeah, we have way too many pedophiles running things. Say what you will about the Pizzagate conspiracy, it's looking more and more believable by the day.
Well, whether or not it was actually, a pizza shop here, we do know that there's pedo rings, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that was code, too.
Sure.
Like, you can't take anything they say at surface value. There's a lot of code work being done here. They're not all stupid.
But they've made it so that we got to educate kids. Because until the 1960s, I don't know if you guys knew this, but no kids were ever born. Nobody could figure out sex. Everybody's like, I don't know how this keeps happening. And so around the 60s, when you have the rise of psychology, like, we really need to teach kids about their dinglings. We got to have it in public schools because if we don't teach them about their dinglings, they're all going to get pregnant.
That's
Check
a
out-
South Park episode again. You know, like how do we keep the kids quiet?
Yeah. And if you look at the numbers, you haven't seen a drastic drop in teen pregnancy because of all this nonsense. In fact, you saw a rise in the 80s of it.
Yeah.
Now, like, what we really got to do is talk to them more about sex. And then they got even further where they're like, we should just have sex with them. And that's modern teachers.
Yeah. They really do like touching kids, don't they?
They really do, man. They love it. I don't know, man. I watch as this stuff's happening and I can explain how and why it's happened, but I still don't quite comprehend it because at some point somebody should have stood up and went, no.
No, they're life ruiners. So they destroy anybody who goes against them. They have protests out in front of their houses. They get them to lose their jobs because they're closed-minded bigots or some shit. And it's the worst thing you could be is a istophobic racist or whatever the current word of the day is.
Whatever thing that makes you sound like you're against them because of who they are. For the record, I am against pedophiles for who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that's that incredibly bold of a stance to take. It shouldn't be anyway.
But these days it is.
It's disgusting.
Because these days it's like, how dare you? Look, it is a preference.
Muhammad was like that. Oh, wait.
Oh God, man. I'm so tired of seeing things like that and it being acceptable. What else we got going on? This one's just funny, and this is probably one of those that is going to get us in trouble, Jack, like we got in trouble the other day.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny to me, so we're gonna watch it.
Number 12. Yeah. Okay. So you see the cards, right?
Okay, so he had her pick a number, and she picked the number 12.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw this one already.
And I have here 3 cards, right? And I want you to choose 2 cards.
The one in the middle and the one next to the light or whatever that is.
This one?
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Okay. And you said 12, right?
Yeah.
If you add it together, it should be 12.
There's a 10 and a 2 on the screen.
But they're an analog.
Need my calculator.
I need my calculator. I bet you she can tell you how to masturbate, though. I bet she learned that in school.
Oh, she knows all about the genders, but she can't do simple mathematics. She's
Jesus
what, like in her
Christ.
20s?
No, this girl's like 15. This girl's
Even
not that
so,
old.
Even so, she should know this by
She's-
the time she's like 6.
She's well past 10 and 2.
Yeah, like a 2-year-old I'd understand, but a 10-year-old I'd be like, "You're going to remedial class, dummy."
She's probably got her application into Harvard and has been approved already.
I think Eagle nails it here. Oh my freaking god! Yeah, this is
No.
Common Core math, guys.
My mom always warned me, you need to learn how to do math without a calculator because one day you might not have a calculator. And Mom didn't see how the world was changing. The need for a calculator in most situations, you're going to have one close by, whether it's your phone, your computer, whatever. But I am glad she at least had me learn simple addition.
Yeah, look, I am awful at math. That is pretty widely accepted at this point. The viewers of the show know this, but for fuck's sake, 10 plus 2? Yeah, disband the Department of Education right now.
It's amazing also at the end when she uses the calculator and gets the proper answer of 12, she's really excited by it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, it's 12. Oh God. The rest of the videos I have, I can't actually show because I know they'll get us in trouble. They're not dirty or anything, but I'm positive they're going to be ones that are claimed by some fly-by-night place that's stealing half the money from the creators, telling them they'll protect them.
Yeah.
In that situation, it wasn't just in the addition that was simple. That is true. Go ahead. I'm sorry, my friend.
The Austin Metcalf family got swatted again today, third time in 2 days.
Everybody needs to just let that fucking case go. I saw a video just a little while just before the show of a black guy saying that if Carmelo is found guilty, black people won't riot. But if he's found not guilty, white people will probably rush the Capitol again. Or what was the other thing said? Or invade black spaces or rush the police. I forget exactly the other things.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything. They'll write some strongly worded letters or some bullshit like that and not do anything. Shut up.
Well, he says because white people don't like it when they don't get their way. I don't care about black and white in this issue. I really don't. And I know we're supposed to, but I don't. A kid is dead and another kid killed him. And it wouldn't be any better if the kid who killed him was white or both of them were black. It's not a good thing any way around.
Yeah.
Why is everybody so desperate for a fucking race war?
Some people really want that.
God bless, man. And look, I get how the media is about this kind of stuff, and yeah, I get it. But why has this become the hill everybody's dying on? You guys are going to fuck around and get more people, not you people in the audience here, but the people who are harping on this so desperately about the race angle of it. You're going to get people killed.
I think they want that. They want martyrs for the cause.
Yep. Oh. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting too old and too tired of the bullshit, Jack. I can't anymore. I just can't.
Oh, no.
Why are they're swatting the family of a murder victim? Why? What does that accomplish?
They hate those people and want them dead for reasons.
And as far as I know, and again, I haven't followed the story really desperately closely, it's not like the family of the dead kid is out there talking a lot of shit. This is all driven by the hate of morons online.
Yeah.
Anyhow, speaking of morons online, have you seen Willie Mack's Destiny video that he came out with 2 days ago?
Oh my God. Yeah. I just watched it today.
Me too. And
what a parade of retards.
Yeah, we can talk about all of them. I want to talk about one part before we dig deeper. The very end, where he says, I don't think this will really harm Destiny's career. It'll color it for the rest of time. As for people who watch him for politics, what can I say? I mean, people in the political space are often hypocrites, and he flashes a picture of Hassan and then a picture of Tim Pool.
Yeah.
I fucking lost it.
He's not wrong.
He's not. He's really not. But to the video itself, I mean, he does a good job of showing Destiny as a shitty person, which, yeah. And I don't know if I can say shittier than I knew, but shittier than I knew a year ago. And his cheap ass attempts to try to explain away his behavior instead of just going, I did it, I was wrong for doing it, the end, which he can't do right now because he's being sued.
I would disagree with you there. He's justifying.
Oh yes, absolutely. Cash Star says, I like your voice. Well, thank you. I like it too.
Yeah, he likes it a lot.
I really do. I love
He likes to look in the mirror and talk to himself all dirty.
Bro, if I could have my own voice talking to me when it wasn't actually me saying it, how great would that be?
Oh my God, I'm totally gonna get Lady Monkey a voice changer that has your voice.
That would be awesome. Actually, though, my sons do sound like me. There are definite differences, but there are times where I've heard my son talk and I'm like, wait, did I say that? Anyhow, as for the Destiny video, it's a really good Willie Mack video, as most of his are. He's not wrong though about Destiny's not really going to suffer for this. Maybe in court he'll have to give her some money, but he's wealthy enough that that's not going to hurt him that bad.
Yeah, he's trying to. It really looks like Destiny is a terrible client for a lawyer.
Sure.
There's all these allegations of him trying to destroy evidence and threaten people into shutting up or bribing them or blackmailing them. And if any of that is true, he is going to really get fucked in the civil trial.
Dude, when you're getting sued for this kind of shit and part of the accusation is intimidation, and then you go on and talk to somebody knowing you're being recorded about how you want to kill two people, absolutely murder them, and give graphic detail about horrible shit you'd like to happen to them.
Mhm.
As the lawyer, you just got to go, I have to quit now.
Yeah, but you probably can't because you're too far into the trial because you didn't do your due diligence and look him up. Like, look into the like other things that he's done. Because who was somebody that criticized him? He had like looked up their street address.
Yeah.
It was like planning and talking about getting
Oh.
guns and shit.
Do you know that situation?
No.
Okay,
I don't
so
remember it. I'm sure we've talked about it.
this is probably his oldest known. What the fuck did you just say? This was a child.
Oh,
This was a child who was DDoSing his streams, and I get that it was costing him money and stuff, but he reaches out to the kid's dad and like, can you make him stop? And the kid's dad's like, sure, but the kid doesn't stop. And yeah, Destiny tells us how he got his gun permit because of this, because he was going to go kill that kid.
wow.
Yeah. And he's talked about it before about because he doxed that kid. He's like, yeah, I did it, and I'm okay with doing it.
I'm
It's a-
telling you, man, that dude is a sociopath. You're doxing children.
Yeah.
Fuck off, dude.
And we all knew about his hatred of the kid, but what we saw in that Willie Mack video was like, God damn, dude. That's a little unhinged, and you should probably be on several lists because of what he said there.
No shit.
And not because of what he said. I'm taking him at his word about what he did. Like looking up street maps and how to get there and planning a trip and getting a weapon. At that point, it's no longer just what he's saying, Jack. That's a plan in motion.
Yeah, he had a plan. That's more than enough to prosecute.
Jesus. But the overall thing that Willie gets out of it, yeah, I mean, he's a fucked up person, but this isn't really going to affect him. Welcome to the internet. I think it's affected a lot. I do think that, as Willie said, it'll color his career for the rest of his life. But it's not stopping him from going on things like Piers Morgan.
No, he'll always have an audience
Yeah.
because a lot of people just don't care about stuff like that.
I told you and Monkey about Destiny plotting murder. I'll take your word for that. But the detail that he goes into in that Willie Mack video, I do not think that's ever been talked about before. He might have even said out loud before, I wanted that kid dead, but that's not the same as I bought a gun to do it myself.
I've seen that clip before, but I don't remember where. I have no idea if we talked about it on the show or not. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Destiny's an awful human being.
Yeah.
I knew that already. This is the way he treats his partners. And apparently all these secret recordings he does, I'm wondering if he has any footage of him and Lauren Southern.
Oh, I guarantee it if they were actually together.
Yeah, because he seems like the sneaky type that just explicitly records people whether they know about it or not.
I'm beginning to think you should never talk to anybody online because they're all recording.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just have to assume you're being recorded.
I mean, I never say anything that I wouldn't say online if it wouldn't get us in trouble with YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
You know better than anybody. Jack gets to hear all the stuff that I'm like, ooh, yeah, we couldn't say that shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I'm not embarrassed by any of it. I'm not, ashamed of it. I don't think that, like, if somebody I was talking about heard me say it, that they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe Monkey said that about me.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much everything we say behind the scenes is stuff we've said before or a slightly saucier version of it.
Yeah, we we get to go a little bit further than we're allowed to on here because humor is not a thing anymore.
Oh, you're not allowed to be funny.
Got to be careful with how you're funny. All those people record each other for manifestos while saying they're friends. Yeah, I think I first really noticed this with the Ralph era when he still had a following, and as him and his crash are imminent, and suddenly we find out he was recording Gator all that time.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, this is one of your best friends, and you recorded him so you could use it later against him. One, I am far too lazy to record our conversations, Jack.
Oh my God, what an effort. Fuck that.
And then how do you, if you're recording everything you're talking about, like you and I, we talk after every show, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, but it would have to be thousands of hours.
Yeah. And at some point, if you want to blackmail someone, you gotta go through all that shit to find some spicy little nugget that you can be like, haha, I got him. What a complete fucking waste of time.
I just don't understand that mentality. And maybe that's why we stay away from those kind of people, Jack. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just can't be bothered to put that much effort into it, if I'm being honest.
I don't care enough.
No.
I mean, like, seriously, what are you gonna do with that? What a complete waste of hard drive space.
Oh, excuse me. I am sorry, guys. I am so fucking tired right now. Jack, will you talk for just a second?
Sure. What's up, chat? What you guys doing out there? Is it sexy? Or are you staying classy? I am. I'm staying classy. Just for you. Oh, why do people think
Sorry.
that it was me threatening a kid? Yeah, right.
I just saw a post on Twitter that I wanted to read. Nerdrotic was asking what people think of Quartering's post, and so I read his post. He's upset about Twitter monetization again. Apparently monetization on Twitter has ruined Twitter because it's engagement farming. Like, bitch, what do you think it was before?
Yeah,
Twitter's
only
always
now you can make money doing it.
Now people are getting paid for it. It's no different than it used to be. It just used to be people would send folks to their YouTube channels.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different type of engagement farming, but quit your belly aching, you bitch.
And yeah, the Quartering of all people bitching about engagement farming, really? All
well,
right.
There's a level of irony there that I'm not prepared to deal with at this point. Did you see the little controversy about iHypocrite defending the Quartering?
No.
So iHypocrite, I don't know his material very well, but he apparently is lumped in with like Nick Fuentes and some of those other griper types.
He's got some spicy takes now and then.
Yeah, well, he was defending Jeremy against Kino Casino. If that tells you how intelligent this is going to be.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Hang on. Let me turn down my IQ for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So he was responding to their video about Quartering being broke. Because he admitted he maxed out his credit cards. Apparently, iHypocrite did not watch the same video the rest of us did. Because we played that video and talked about it in depth. Talking about his maxed out credit cards, his all in on the coffee and all this.
Yep.
And iHypocrite's defense is Jeremy's a millionaire. He brings in thousands of dollars every month.
Twitch. He said he was $300K in debt.
Yeah, that's my question is like, if you're so rich, why are you asking me to buy your stupid fucking coffee for $99?
Huh.
That doesn't make any damn sense. If he's making that kind of money, he obviously doesn't need our help. So I'm not buying any of his shitty coffee. I wasn't going to anyway, but we don't need to tell him that.
I don't drink coffee. I wouldn't buy it if I did, because I'm one of those people like, I'm not buying some weird shit from a rando online because he tells me he made, look how ironic he made his title of his coffee brand coffee. That must be good stuff.
It's the good stuff. Yay. Ugh. Boring.
I think we should just tank his whole thing and start calling it Jeremy juice, and then nobody will drink it.
It's like Jesus juice, but weirder.
Who wants Jeremy juice in your mouth? Hmm.
Get a mouthful of Jeremy juice. Ah!
Investing 300K is called capitalism. Investing to grow because you need the money to grow is capitalism. Investing the money because you're going to go under without it is called failure.
There's a point where you're throwing good money after bad.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what he was trying to do, but I think he was trying to expand way too fast and try to do too much in-house at one time. And it may have sunk him. But that's his own fault. Again, I have to agree with the Kino Casino boys on this. How come his wife didn't sell her airplane to cover some of these costs?
Because that's his problem, not hers. She ain't selling her shit for his little dream.
Exactly. So if she doesn't have enough faith in his stuff, why should we?
Mess says that's if you trust the story. I'm going by what Jeremy said, and it was a pretty bad story. And let's talk about it again, just briefly, Jack.
Okay.
Because he said he went out and spent $80,000 he doesn't have because of one hiccup in his supply chain, which he probably easily could have gotten taken care of.
But he may have missed Mother's Day, and that's one of the biggest days for him.
Which is still quite a ways away.
Yeah.
And he did this, and with no justification whatsoever, says that the supply chain hiccup is because the guy must have found his content and not liked him. I mean, sometimes shit happens.
Yeah, you're supposed to have a backup plan in case there's a kink in the system, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are other people that do this sort of thing that he needed, which was dumping it into little K-cups. Okay, he wanted to spend that much money. That's fine, but why did he put $80,000 on a credit card?
It would be one thing if he'd already been looking at bringing it in-house, and it might be a little touchy, and this hiccup made him decide to just pull the trigger and go. But that's not what happened. He panicked and spent 80 grand and then slandered a dude he doesn't know shit about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just bad. But no, I haven't been on the Twitters very much, and I haven't seen anybody ever defend Jeremy.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that.
His own friends don't defend him, man.
Right?
Oh,
real
I got
quick.
to put. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Donald Camp, who says, hold on, where's the message?
It's on the screen right there.
No, it's on my Cash App. Hello to you too, my friend. Thank you, Donald, for that feminist donation. Appreciate it, man. And thank you, Evil One. What if Asians are aliens? It would explain the eyes. It's a very generous donation, man. I'm not xenophobic at all.
There you go.
And they see in HD. Sexy aliens. Stupid sexy aliens. I understand Captain Kirk a lot better now. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Sorry about the delay in getting to those. My phone doesn't notify me, and I usually have the volume way down, so it's my fault.
Finally got to play Oblivion. And so far it's fun, but it's reminding me of playing the original. My computer just can't fucking handle it, so I had to turn down a bunch of settings. But thank you for those who donated so I could get that last night.
Turn down to the original?
Yes, basically. I really, really, really want to play, but I've been so tired that I was like, I can't even play video games right now. I feel so lazy. What? I feel so lazy right now, man. What do we got going on in chat here? This is why there's penalties if the deal or in the deal if you don't deliver. Oh, talking about the supply chain hiccup. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes it's unavoidable, but he could have easily reached out to some other packager, and instead he's like, nope, 80 grand on my credit card because I'm good at business. Jeremy, I'm going to say this as plainly as I can. You are good at sucking up. That's it. You suck up very well, and then you shit all over the people you've sucked up to. But that is your forte. It's actually not business.
Like, he might be good at marketing or something, supposedly, but he is not good at investment, apparently, because putting 80 grand on a credit card, that is not smart business. That's desperation.
Yeah, 80 grand on a credit card is not something you pay off that month, right? Not unless you have a lot of money in the bank. There is something to be said for buying things on credit when you have the money, and then you just pay it off, so it helps your credit score. Stuff I'm
Yeah.
not getting into. Do it yourself. But the idea that he went out there and spent that much money on that and then slandered the guy, that's the part that really gets me. He has no proof at all. He even says, I don't know what happened. And then he just guesses it's because the guy is a liberal.
Yeah, maybe it's because somebody from Jeremy's organization kept calling them all the time, or they're just annoying. You know, who knows? There could be 1,000 reasons why they don't want your business anymore.
Yeah. And it could be something even, look, if you've had no communication, maybe something happened.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was located. Maybe a storm came through. Maybe the guy's mother's got sick and he rushed out without thinking about everything. I don't fucking know why he did it.
Maybe they're just so busy they don't have time for an account that small.
True. You're
So they're
20.
like, we got to cut something, cut the small accounts.
Yeah. Your 20,000 cups isn't enough for us to put off this 100,000 cups.
Yeah, like USP just said, you don't want to flatline your savings. I mean, the way Jeremy framed it, he's selling off a bunch of his personal stuff, his Nintendo and Neo Geo or some shit, whatever, some video game shit that I don't know anything about. And he's overextended his credit lines. If he's putting that on a credit card, the average credit card that I've seen starts at around like, what, 26, 28%, maybe higher, depending on your credit.
I know of one. I do not have a credit card. I don't want a credit card, and I know that screws me. But I'm 50, so what am I going to use credit for? But one I saw recently was 20%, and I was like, 20 fucking percent. I remember when those things used to advertise at 5.
Yeah, that's long gone.
20%. That is ridiculous. I don't know why you'd have a credit card.
Desperation, emergencies, maybe. I can understand having one in case of an emergency, fine.
Sure.
But a high percentage like that, man, even at 15%, like USP said, that's a high percentage. Like, that really adds up on a big purchase. So I don't know if he's got a business card or what, but yeah, running to his defense like that, like he's rich. You're not helping him, dude. We lose you, monkey?
No. I was looking at another thing while I was listening to you.
Oh, yeah, I was just ranting a little bit there. Sorry, stealing.
No, I was appreciating it. It gave me a chance to read while I was listening. I like when you rant. It gives me a chance to just sit back and do nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's my shtick.
Oh, man.
I'm your Ed McMahon. You're not mine.
That's fair. Fair enough. Oh, God. So we haven't talked about it, and we're not going to watch it. But did you watch Shoe on Head's latest video?
No.
She made a video we can't really respond to because I agree with way too much of it.
Oh.
Although I will say she's upset. Her whole video is about USAID and how it's shit.
Yeah. Slush fund for the DNC.
But she's more upset that the original intent of USAID was to fight communism, which it really was, guys. It was to foster Americanism in other countries to fight communism. That's what it was.
Yeah, and ironically, it turned into a commie slush fund.
Yippers indeed. 20%. Glad I live here in Aussie. Better medical too. No, you don't. Stop it. Yeah, I remember when something changed with all the credit cards where they started charging more interest again because they were basically screwing themselves out of money they could get. And they were dumping all of their money into the really shitty credit cards for people with bad credit.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, hey, we can get more money from wealthier people too, you know? And they're like, oh, really? Which is just smarter because they have the money.
That's crazy talk.
It was Congress. Yeah, I forget what the bill was, but I remember when it all went through. God, that's what, 10, 15 years ago now?
Probably longer than that. I don't know. It's been a while. So
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have credit. Well, I'm sure I have a credit score, but I've been off the grid for a while, Jack.
well, you've been all married and stable, so show off.
Well, Lady Monkey has credit and stuff, but I mine are all related to when you pay your bills, which I pay mine on time, so I don't know what that does for my credit. I know if you pay them late, it hurts your credit.
Well, it can both hurt and help your credit at the same time, depending on the situation.
Yeah, I'm not big. I think the whole credit thing's a scam to begin with.
Yep.
It's kind of like college. They've made it where you have to depend on it.
Yeah, well, the way things are set up these days is to fuck the poor as much as possible. So
But hey, you got a credit card, now you can go max it out and be in debt and then declare bankruptcy. And in 7 years, you can repeat the process.
that's part of the goal, trick people into being irresponsible.
Oh my God. I got stretch. Hang on. Oh. That hurt, Jack.
I imagine.
All right, audience, it's your turn. What do y'all want to talk about? Because we're out of subjects and I will just ramble for the next hour if I have to.
I mean, we're good at that.
I don't mind. We do it offline anyway, so.
Yeah, we occasionally do it online.
Sorry, I forgot caps. No, you're fine. I do appreciate those of you who remember caps because I can't see shit, man. Especially as tired as I am right now, Jack.
Yeah.
I was trying to read stuff earlier. I'm like, nah, ain't even fucking worth it.
I brought the Spider-Man story, Eagle.
True.
That was my contribution. So the one time I don't have anything, he's like, what do you have today? I'm like, I have jack shit. That's what I got. I got nothing.
Well, here's how I spent my day, Jack. So I went to bed last night. I finally fell asleep somewhere around 4:30, and I woke up at 7:30. And I was waking up. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's get something productive done. So I went and did a game stream with Satsu. And I was like, I'm gonna go have lunch, and then I will do an Oblivion stream. And I went and had lunch with Lady Monkey, and I was like, I need to go to bed. So I went and laid down. And I was in bed for about 5 hours, and I might have gotten 15 minutes of sleep. I would fall asleep for just a minute or two and then wake up and just lay there for another hour until I'd fall asleep and wake up. And so, yeah, I didn't even have time to be anywhere to see news stories and stuff.
I worked around the house, boxed up a bunch of my brother's clothes, finally getting around to kind of sorting his stuff out. And then let's see, what else did I do? I stared off into space for a little while, played with the cat, and then stared off into space a little more. I worked on videos. I filmed a bunch of stuff. I did like 10 videos for Roll for Sanity. Got those filmed and a bunch of them scheduled. And I was starting to work on comic videos. And then I watched Suits LA for a few episodes. And I watched Andor episode 1 because it was on ABC. And then I showed up here.
Fair enough.
That's pretty much my day.
Andor was on ABC?
Yep. Season 2 is on ABC.
Oh, Disney owns ABC, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I have a feeling there's probably some scenes edited out. Because there was apparently a rape sequence that probably is not going to be on the broadcast network version, but I don't know.
I heard good things about Andor, but I am not interested in Star Wars anymore. They've killed it for me.
Yeah, Andor was actually Rogue One I thought was the best of the Disney films. Even though that girl is like tiny and has like buck teeth, I still wanted to plow her. Um, but that movie was probably the best one, and it had that awesome Darth Vader scene.
See, I hated the Darth Vader scene. It's
Oh, really?
cool looking, but that is supposedly going right from the end of that into
New Hope, yeah.
New Hope. And Darth Vader is badass, and you go to New Hope, and he's wooden as shit.
Well, I mean, yeah, they have the CGI that we have now, but the Andor series is a prequel to Rogue One. And season 1 I thought was actually pretty good. It was pretty entertaining, and so far this one looks like doesn't look too bad. So we'll have to see, I guess. But I like the Andor stuff way better than any of the other Disney crap, because Disney has just been fucking Star Wars in the ass since they got the rights.
I still think that their first entry, the one where Han Solo dies, was way better than anything Lucas had done with it since Jedi. Because the prequels were crap. They were trash. I will not hear any other word on that. And I feel bad for the kids who grew up with that when we got to grow up with the original trilogy. They're like, just make all lightsabers and no sense and trade deals. It was dumb as shit. So I was excited after the first one. I thought they did it was not a great movie, and Rey was a bad character, and her going from flying her Zippo to being able to navigate the Millennium Falcon through a crevice was retarded.
Yeah.
But it wasn't horrible like we got when they let Rian Johnson do it.
Yeah, Last Jedi was hands down the worst of that trilogy. Force Awakens was basically New Hope repackaged.
See, I hear people say that all the time, and I disagree with it. I think it's the entire trilogy repackaged, because there's elements from all three movies in there.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, it's the same kind of like lazy recycling girl power bullshit that we get all the time from Hollywood now. So I don't know. It was not the most painful of movies to watch Force Awakens, but it did blow me away. It wasn't spectacular. And I thought the subsequent movies made the prequels look better.
Evil One, I'm just going to disagree with you. I never hated the Ewoks. I love Wicket. They're awesome. I like the Ewoks.
I like the idea of tiny bears beating the shit out of people. It's amusing to me for some reason. I don't know why.
I love at the end when they're using the stormtroopers' helmets as drums.
Yeah.
That shit makes me laugh. But no, I never hated the Ewoks. And if you did hate the Ewoks, I don't know how you can, go back and watch that and then watch anything since and still hate the Ewoks. Because fuck. Anyway, what else is going on in the world, Jack? I really don't know. Aren't there any festivals or anything for us to be mad about right now?
Oh, Fire Festival 2 got canceled.
Well, of course. But
I know you're upset, Monkey.
A lot of the stuff that I see people upset about these days, I really don't give a shit. A lot of it seems like outrage for outrage's sake. And I am always outraged for a reason. There's a method behind my madness. But I feel like the whole world is turned into the Quarterings channel.
That's a thought. Wow.
Everything is just like, I'll be mad about this. Like I don't have the care.
Yeah, I get it. There's a lot of phony outrage bullshit going on.
The world is mad. I think we're at a place right now where a lot of the world is better than it's been for a long time, and people don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Tim Pool got a billboard. Did you see that? I did not see Tim Pool's Please tell me the beanie is featured.
I heard he got his news media people have a press pass for the White House now. Really? I hope that's not true, but that's just because I don't like him. Oh, I did watch a video of a kitten wearing little pajamas. It was adorable.
Oh,
Yeah, my sister showed it to me.
I've gotten, maybe I'm just getting older. The more that I see of like cute little things. I saw a video the other day of a kangaroo that had been hit by a car and died.
Oh, damn.
Hang on, it's going somewhere pleasant. She had a baby in her pouch and somebody rescued it and raised it, and they did this cute little video of them of over the years them raising this kangaroo. It's like sleeping in bed with them and shit. It's
Did they name it
adorable.
Bambi?
You can't name it Bambi. It's not a deer. It's a kangaroo.
What's the Aussie equivalent of Bambi? It's not a
Do they-
wombat, so you can't name it Rocco.
Do they have deer in Australia?
Yeah, they're deer that went to prison because it's Australia, so they're called kangaroos.
What is that? If he got a plushie, would it be a Beanie Baby? Cute. I see what you did there. A massive roo or a small wallaby? No, this is a kangaroo, an actual kangaroo, full size by the end of the video. You know, the kind where you see some dumbass out in the outback and they're like, oh, look, a kangaroo. And they walk up to it. And the end of the video is them passed out on the ground because they got kicked by a kangaroo.
Yeah, a wallaby. That's what Rocco was. My bad.
I love watching people get knocked out by kangaroos.
Well, they usually deserve it, and they're probably drunk. So
Just like I love watching videos of people who get out to go get close to moose.
dumbasses.
I'm like, that is a giant snarling animal. Look at it from a distance.
I remember watching this bitch in an Australian zoo climb over the barricade to go get a selfie with the polar bear. They grabbed her by the leg and tried to pull her in. Ended up getting her shoe. And there's some dude hitting it with this tiny little branch. Like he's more fanning the bear.
The bear's like, no, to the left, to the left.
Yeah, that was just sad. But that bitch had it coming. Don't fuck with wildlife, you retards. What? It's not a fuzzy kitten, you idiots.
There was a recent spotting of a cougar around here, and not an old lady looking for young love, an actual cat. I'm like, oh, somebody's gonna get eaten.
Yeah,
because somebody's gonna be like,
in Ohio.
I am the cat whisperer, Jack, but I would not go near a big cat.
No, cougars don't typically attack humans, but it's been known to happen. And
it happens when you get too close to their den and you don't realize it. And
or their food.
They think their cubs are in trouble and then they will fuck you up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here in Ohio, we have a lot of what they call lion sightings, but they're female lions, which look a lot like cougars.
Sure, yeah.
So we get a lot of cougar sightings, usually around Cincinnati or like the rural parts north of Cincinnati, like Hamilton, that sort of thing, or over by the woods on the other end of the state. So yeah, it's Hocking Hills area. But yeah, don't mess with wildlife like that. They used to be native to this state because they have a stuffed one that was killed in 1908 at the Historical Society. Because every year there's a sighting and some idiot comes out and is like, cougars aren't native to Ohio, you dummies. But they are. So you're bound to have them come up Michigan way because there's a lot of woods up there.
I'm actually shocked we don't have more wildlife up where I live. I mean, we get lots of foxes. I don't even know if there's coyotes around here anymore. But yeah, we don't get a lot of them, largely because it gets so cold, Jack.
Yeah.
Tons of deer. That's what we have. Deer.
Yeah, but the deer are what will bring the cougars. Those delicious deer burgers.
I just don't understand people who try to get close to animals like that, or like the idiots who raise them. I remember this one guy. I didn't know him personally, but he was a friend of a friend. He's telling me about it. He goes, yeah, he has a cougar. I'm like, he has a what now? And he showed me a picture that this guy had of a cougar sleeping on top of his refrigerator.
Yeah, his death wish is what he has.
I'm like, you guys, this isn't like having a cat. This is like having a murder beast in your house.
Yeah, they call them murder mittens for a reason. They're going right on your face, buddy. And it's going to be deep and painful because you don't have fur to stop it.
I remember the one story of the guy you mentioned polar bears a minute ago who went into a polar bear cage and got fucked up, and they asked him why he did it, and he said because the polar bear waved him in.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's one of my favorite stories of all time.
It's like, come on in, I have a Coca-Cola for you.
Because there's part of me that wants to believe that the bear was that smart. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
this can't work.
This
Come
will work
on.
guys. Come on in, human.
He can't be this dumb. He's a human. Yeah.
These
But we
people
are.
caught us? What? How?
Not last time we were in Virginia, maybe 2 times ago, before COVID, whenever I was in Virginia right before COVID, we went to this animal sanctuary they have down there where you can drive through.
Oh, yeah.
And you buy some food so you can feed the animals along the way. The place really stinks, but it is really cool because you get closer to these kind of animals than you ever would. But they have emu, sorry, I say it right for you guys, and ostriches. And those little fuckers are not just annoying, but they're persistent.
Oh, they're dicks, man. I can understand why people fear velociraptors, because if they're descendants of velociraptors must have been assholes.
Right? They would stick their head in the car, and I rolled up the window, and they're all laughing at me for it. Like, 1, I don't like birds. 2,
Yeah.
I don't like birds that are taller than me. And 3, I don't like a bird that just sticks his head in my lap.
Yeah, he's like one step removed from a cassowary, which will gut you.
Yeah.
If you ever played Far Cry 3, you understand.
Fuck them things, man.
Yeah, those giant, delicious-looking chicken things.
I'm not a big fan of the zoo for the very reason that I find most of the animals there boring. And you're just watching them stand.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
That's why I like the circus back when they used to use whips and shit to make elephants do stuff.
Oh, I like animal abuse.
I don't like the animal abuse, but at least they were doing something, right? Like going to SeaWorld and watching Shamu do jumps and twirls in the air. That's cool. If all I was doing was watching Shamu swim, I'd be like, this is boring as shit. Somebody get a whip and make Shamu do a jump for Frank.
Jesus. Why did it attack its trainer? I don't know. It's a mystery. Now, I love the zoo because I get to see all these animals, and they all do the same thing I do. They stand around and stare at other animals. It's like, who's watching who here?
Most of the animals aren't that. I like cats, so if it's not the big cats, I'm really not that interested. Even the monkeys, I love monkeys, but they're mostly just sitting there sticking fingers up their own butts.
Well, I mean, people get bored.
I'm not excited by that. Now, seeing a big cat will always make me go, ooh.
Yeah, because they're pretty and they do stuff.
The closest zoo to me is the John Ball Zoo, which I'm not sure who John Ball was, but they have tigers, actual tigers, and it's at the very end of the zoo. And for some reason, this entire zoo is uphill. Well, no, not the entire zoo. Let me take that back. About halfway along, there's a flat part, and that's where they put the food. And then it's uphill the rest of the way. And I don't like tigers enough, especially I can't pet it. I can only see it through glass. I don't like them enough to walk that long, even when I was healthy. Now,
I get that.
Lady Monkey loves the zoo. She has a blast at the zoo because she loves all the animals and stuff. Like, that is just like, it might as well be a cow to me, just standing there doing nothing. Am I the only one like that? Am I the only person who hates zoos and wishes they would beat him into doing stuff to entertain me?
I mean, they smell kind of funny, but John Ball was a settler, educator, lawyer, and member of the Michigan State Legislature. He donated the land where the zoo is.
Oh, that makes sense why they named it after him.
Yeah. Okay. Check this out. He studied two years of law at Lansboro, New York, and then went to Darien, Georgia, where he was shipwrecked. Taught school for the winter of 1822 to 1823 to earn his passage back to New York.
He got shipwrecked in Georgia?
Yeah.
I hope they mean along the coast and not like he was on a lake somewhere.
Yeah, I assume it was the coast, a lake you could just walk around, but he didn't have money to get home, so he had to earn it.
I guess. All right. Well, good for him.
Yeah. So yeah, he became a lawyer that way, and he did a lot of other stuff. Apparently, some sort of pioneer, as you will. Despite returning to his hometown of Lansing-Borough, Ball settled at Grand Rapids, Michigan in 1837. Opened a law office. Then he worked in the legislature, and then he did a bunch of other shit I don't care about. So, yep, lost interest in this already.
Yeah, I probably should have looked at because there's the John Ball Park and then there's the John Ball Zoo, and they're nice enough. For a zoo, it's not a bad zoo. I've been to worse. You ever been to the Norfolk Zoo, ladies and gentlemen? That's just mean to put animals there.
That's where all the bad animals go. It's like the prison for zoo animals.
It's like Slytherin of zoos is what it is. It is a dump. See, my first zoo experience was in San Diego. I got to go to the San Diego Zoo when we lived there. And it was a beautiful, magical place. And they had the train that took you everywhere. And it was wonderful. And then my next experience was the Norfolk Zoo. And that's when I realized you shouldn't mistreat animals.
Is it like the Chinese zoo where they had a guy in a panda suit pretending to be a panda, or a dog spray painted as a panda?
That probably would have been better, honestly.
That's just a dog. No, that panda, you go now. Move along.
I've heard that the Cincinnati Zoo is really nice, but I've never got to go.
That's one of the weaker ones in Ohio. Columbus Zoo is really nice. Toledo Zoo is really nice, and Cleveland Zoo is really nice. All for different reasons. Cleveland's even kind of weak on that list. But Cincinnati I wasn't real impressed with. There's a lot of other places in Cincinnati that are way better than the zoo.
San Diego has two zoos. We got the regular zoo and the safari zoo. I don't know if they had the safari zoo when I lived there. I haven't lived in San Diego since I was 7, so if it came along before or after 82, I wasn't there for it.
Yeah,
see, I always liked going to SeaWorld much more than the zoo, even after going to the San Diego one.
Yeah, SeaWorld was awesome. We used to have one in Cleveland, and it was really cool. When I was a little kid, we went, and I remember it very distinctly because it made a huge impression on me because they had the water park theme, or the what do they call it? Anyway, they had a bunch of people dressed like superheroes on water skis.
Oh, nice.
And Aquaman did all these cool stunts, like he did double flips in the air off of a ramp. It was really, really cool. That had to be like 78, 79, somewhere in there. Because I was really little. But I just thought that was so fucking cool. Superman and Batman on skis, doing all these tricks and shit. It was all the Super Friends.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, pretty awesome. They advertised it in the back of comic books at the time. Because I remember seeing the picture on some of the older comics, and we got to go see that. It left a huge impression on me, and they had Shamu out there doing stuff back when you could torment animals.
Hey, look, Shamu was not tormented. That Free Willy movie is bullshit.
You don't know. You don't know. Shamu ain't here to talk anymore. They silenced him.
The Shamu that I saw, because I actually got to see Shamu. They're not all named Shamu. There's like Shampoo and Shambu. But I saw the Shamu, and Shamu never once killed a trainer, which tells me he liked being there.
Well, if he was captured from the ocean, he probably did like being there, like free food. It's not the worst prison to be in.
That's not to say that there are not parks that are absolutely gross and that they don't take care of the animals properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But SeaWorld was fucking awesome. Dangerous, thank you. The Ewoks were going to cook Luke and Han and eat them. They took a bunch of losses before starting to defeat the Empire, and they didn't win on their physical strength. The hate for them is stupid. Fair. I mean, your analysis of them is fair.
Yeah, Ewoks were some of the only people to actually die on screen.
Yes.
You'd have people fall down, and it's implied they died, like stormtroopers and shit, but you don't know they're actually dead. They're wearing armor. Ewoks, you actually saw them die.
When that one dies and the other one goes over to him and tries to shake him awake, that is such a sad moment.
Yeah, that is the type of stuff that you didn't normally see in kids movies, and
Yeah.
that's what Star Wars was largely considered. Was, a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, everybody saw it, but it was still widely regarded as science fiction is for kids.
Speaking of for kids, let's get back to animal abuse.
Oh yeah. Oh,
what a segue.
Yeah.
I said, what a
we used to
segue.
have- sorry, what?
Nothing. Talk.
Oh, sorry. We used to have really loose exotic animal laws in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
So you'd get like loose pumas occasionally and shit like that. There was a loose crocodile in Grove City back in like 2008. Like an actual crocodile, not like, oh, this thing's like a foot long. No, it was like a 3 foot long gator that somebody dumped out like a water fountain. And it took like a day to find it because it escaped. Like they saw it, these cops were like, oh hell no. So they called an expert to come down. And by the time he got there, it was gone. Somebody eventually did catch it. But then there was a guy in one of the outlying towns. Name escapes me now. But he was going to commit suicide, and he let all of his animals out.
Oh God.
And that changed the law real fast because some semi ran over like 300 minks. And a bunch of baboons and a rare tiger, got out, and they just shot them all because
You have to.
Yeah, well, they didn't even bother to try and call anyone. They just gunned them all down. And some of them weren't necessarily required. They were just like, there's a monkey, bam! And it's just sitting there doing nothing. Most animals were scared, but they killed almost all the animals. I think there was 1 or 2 that weren't accounted for that they just assumed died. But yeah, that guy's suicide caused a change in the law. So they've tightened up a lot of the exotic pet laws. Because we used to have this big festival over by Akron where you could go buy exotic animals and then eat them or take them home as pets.
I don't have much of a problem with people owning exotic pets. Take care of them, of course. But the assholes who release them into the wild in, whatever suburb they live in, those people are horrible people. And I hope bad things happen to them.
Yeah, you hear these stories every now and then of like some drug kingpin idiot who bought a tiger and it lives in his basement.
Yeah.
And it got too big and too violent, so probably because it's stir crazy from being locked in a basement, and they don't know how to deal with it, so they just like find a way to cut it loose into the neighborhood. That shit's dumb. You're just dumb for doing that.
Did you like the zoo or not the zoo, the circus as a kid?
No, I don't like clowns.
I never minded the clowns. They were just kind of boring to me. I love the acrobats. The animal part never really did anything. Oh, look, an elephant's walking with people on it. Interesting.
Yeah.
But the acrobats, I always loved that shit.
Yeah, it was Zanesville was where that incident happened, where he released all the animals. It was 2011.
I did like the circus. I didn't hate the circus. It's not like when it's like, hey, we're going to the zoo. And I'm like, With the circus, like, oh, cool. There's going to be at least part of this that I like. And I like how they always sold things that lit up because I'm a giant child and I like things that light up.
Yeah, me too. Like
look,
dark stuff was always cool.
Yeah. So it was always a good time going to the circus. And then they're like, but they're mean to animals. I'm like, oh, but I like it.
I don't think I ever got to go to the circus as a kid. As an adult, I went once. I was like, this is even creepier than the horror movies make it out to look. The whole thing just looks fake.
Ringling Brothers used to come to the Scope all the time in Virginia. And so we went a couple of times. We went and saw the unicorn. Do you remember when they did the unicorn?
Oh, vaguely.
What they did is they took a baby goat and took his little horns and pushed them together so that they eventually grew to where they were touching, and then they twisted them together.
Yeah, not cruelty at all.
It was a goat that they sold to us kids as a unicorn. Wow. Even as a kid, I was like, that's a goat. It was on my see and say.
Why is it chewing a tin can? The unicorns like those. Shut up. Don't ask questions, kid.
Ebony says that's evil. It is evil, and it is 100% true. Look it up. They had a unicorn goat at Ringling Brothers.
Wow.
What about things like Cirque du Soleil? Do you like that stuff?
I respect what they do. My brother liked them a lot because you know, you take chicks to it and get them and get laid.
Oh, there you go.
But it's just not for me. I see the attraction because it's very athletic what they're doing. Some of it looks a little dangerous too, and I like a sense of danger, like Ninja Warrior, but not for me.
For me mentioning the goat on my CNC, Danger says the goat says, "Help me." My father-in-law went and saw Cirque du Soleil in Vegas, and he really loved the show. And I've never heard of anybody who's gone to one and been like, "Oh, that was boring as shit." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he got videos, and we sat and watched them with him. DVDs you can buy there, and it is amazing how pretentious those people are. What they're doing is absolutely cool. It is amazing, the strength, the endurance, the training that they go through. But then they're like, yes, this is all about love.
Well, they're French,
I'm like,
so
you're spinning on a giant ring in the center of an arena. Where's the love part?
it's in the cash office waiting for them to collect it.
Why do artists all have to be such pretentious jackasses?
Because they're artists. They're not contributing like productive stuff to society. Like they're not building bridges here, Monkey. They're like, that's pretty. That's about it. That's all they got.
I don't get it. Somebody brought up Blue Man. My father-in-law got to see them and got a video. We watched that too. Blue Man is cool, but I think the gimmick goes on too long.
Yeah, it's another one that I think I respect what they're doing and I respect the talent behind it, but it's just not for me. And I like Blue Man Group way better than that Stomp shit where they're just beating up trash cans for no reason. It looks like they're stealing from Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah. I like the idea behind Stomp because I do like when like music just suddenly comes out of nowhere, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody starts tapping a pen and then somebody else starts doing something else and they just fall into a rhythm. That's really cool when it happens. But again, it's one song, not a whole show. It doesn't need to be that deep.
It's a hard sell for me because like I can't hold my attention on that for an hour.
No,
You know,
that's
probably not even that close to that long.
that's too long of banging garbage cans.
Yeah, but now if they combine Cirque du Soleil and Blue Man Group, I might go to that, but I'm not
That could be
paying
cool.
$60. I might pay $20 to see that, but I'm not paying those $65. No.
Being Irish, you should like Riverdance. I do like Riverdance. Irish jig dancing is pretty cool.
Again, I respect the talent involved. It's just not for me. Celtic Woman, though, I'd go to one of their concerts.
Well, that's a little different. The dancing part of it, it's another one where okay, maybe 2 or 3 songs, but eventually you're like, wait, you did that move for half an hour ago.
Yeah, it's too much similar stuff at once. So, and Michael Flattery, the guy behind the like Lord of the Dance stuff,
Mhm.
he made a movie, and I've been trying to find a copy for a while because it is one of the worst movies ever made.
You ever see when Third Rock from the Sun did a Michael Flattery thing?
No.
Dick gets to go to a Lord of the Dance. I forget what they call it. And who is the guy? He played one of the anchors on Sports Night.
That that's not going to help me at all.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of his name. He's been in other things where he's become, a more recognizable actor.
Dangerous. I don't care that his name is Flatley. It's Flattery. That's
what I don't really care. I'll call him Steve just to piss him off because that's who I am.
The guy's genius for coming up with Lord of the Dance. I'll give him that. He made a shit ton of money off of that.
Yeah, he did. Wasn't he involved in Riverdance too?
I think it's a spin-off of Lord of the Dance. I don't remember.
I can't remember if it went Riverdance first and then Lord of the Dance or the other way around, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Riverdance, then Lord of the Dance. Yeah, I'm
And
looking at it now. It was Riverdance first.
Doesn't he have one after Lord of the Dance?
Yeah, there was Lord of the Dance, Feet of Flames, and Celtic Tiger Live.
Yeah, those two don't sound familiar. So whatever I thought in my head, I'd made up. So I'm glad I was right on accident.
He did perform on Dancing with the Stars.
That's not fair.
I know.
Go see Iron Maiden.
The band?
Apparently, are they still together?
I thought the lead singer quit or died.
I like my 80s music and stuff, and every so
Yeah.
often I'll check in on a band and see them and like they're still performing. I'm like, why?
Yeah, I'm not big on live music.
Oh, me neither, because most of it is shit.
Most of it's shit. I've seen a couple of good bands live. Mary Prankster was really good live. Carmen, the Christian singer, not my style of music, but he puts on a good show. Took a chick there to see him, hoping to get a little something. It didn't work out because it turned out she was committed to Jesus.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed, but
Her
not the
purity
worst
ring meant something.
$16 I ever spent.
Do you remember when they did the purity rings with the Jonas Brothers?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Man. You know what? We should get those for teachers now. Purity rings for teachers where they promise not to sleep with high school students.
Yeah, please don't rape the children.
This is my no rape ring.
Yeah, I've heard Iron Maiden does put on a good show, and Weird Al puts on an amazing show. So I would like to see Weird Al live. Yeah, most bands though I don't want to see live because they're garbage. Most live music sucks.
There's a lot of bands where I'm told that they put on a good show and that's great, but nobody ever tells me that they did really good renditions of their own songs.
Yeah.
It's always like they had great pyrotechnics. Like, okay, but could they keep time during it?
We'll never know about Great White.
Here I go again
fire.
on my own.
Oh, they had that fire with the pyrotechnics.
Yes. Didn't people die in that?
Yes.
Like 30 people
awful.
or some shit? Yeah.
There's a bunch of people died from that.
Was that Great White, or I was singing White Snake, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were
Great White
thinking of White
is
Snake. It wasn't
Once
White
Bitten, Twice Shy.
Yeah.
It's been a while and I'm old. Leave me alone, people. How is the freaking music? Yeah, and that's what bothers me about most live performances is that they're bad renditions of their own songs. It's one thing if it's a cover band who fucks it up, but you're more likely to get a good show from a cover band because they learn how it was played in the studio.
Yeah. There's a cover band for Pink Floyd called Brit Floyd. They put on a great show. I am not a Pink Floyd fan, but I can respect their work. These guys did a great job covering Pink Floyd, and it's the closest you're going to get to like good Pink Floyd live. I think Pink Floyd's kind of overrated.
Pink Floyd is very overrated. He comes from that time where good music meant get really high and this will sound okay.
Yeah, I like to call that the Fish or Grateful Dead experience.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Zeppelin, and I know people are, how dare you? They sucked. Just telling you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard, but it's not.
Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven is one of the worst things I've ever heard.
Oh, you haven't heard that whole album then, because there's way worse shit on that album.
That is such a bad song. There's going to be somebody in the chat who just had a baby over that. It's okay. To learn that stuff is absolute trash.
Somebody just unsubscribed. I can hear it.
It's all right. That is. I've been bitching about that song the entire time I've been on the internet because that song sucks.
Yeah, just like Rush and like their entire catalog. All of Nickelback and Coldplay. There's a lot of overrated bands. I think the Rolling Stones are largely overrated.
You can't call Nickelback overrated when it's a meme to hate on them.
I know, and it's sad too because I actually hate them, and I've always hated them.
I
Just
love
like
Nickelback.
Creed and Coldplay. Yeah,
like
maybe they have
Creed.
one or two tolerable songs if I don't have to actually pay attention to it.
I like Creed, but Creed is another one where it's like the artist is just so pretentious I can't take him.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. And overplayed. If I ever hear Arms Wide Open
With
again, I may
arms
hit
wide
somebody at
open,
random.
under the sunlight. Yeah, I love me some Creed. Coldplay, I never understood. I do not. I can't think of a single song of theirs that I like.
Yeah, I'd be hard pressed to tell you the names of any of their songs because they're like AC/DC. Almost all their songs sound the same to me, but I just don't care for them.
There's a lot of them where I'm like that, where it's like I can even see the appeal that some people, why they like it, but it's just not for me. A lot of female singers are like that because of the high pitch. I can't take it, but I get the appeal.
Yeah, I generally like female singers better than male singers.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I'm totally
Yeah.
sexist when it comes to music.
No, I mean that's fine.
You know how hard it is to sing along with a high pitched voice with my voice?
Do you know how hard it is to drive in your car with the windows down, rocking out to some like Shania Twain, and everybody around you is staring at you because I'm like, you're singing about breaking up with some dude.
If me and Lady Monkey are in the car together, I promise you I'm singing along with whatever's on the radio. And I stopped even noticing if people look a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't care. I was jamming out to some K-pop one time, and I'm down in Columbus, right just north of the university, and I'm just singing along to some change, and this couple in the car slightly in front of off to my left are watching me, and the dude is clearly mocking me. The chick looks back smiling, and I start singing directly to her, making an unbroken eye contact. And she went from like laughing to being really creeped out.
Hugh, thank you for the donation. Says Slayer. I didn't think anybody unironically liked Slayer.
Oh man, that's heresy.
Now I see why I don't like Nickelback. All right. Ebony says she listened to Coldplay and Imagine Dragons her first year of college. They have a special place. I understand that too. I mean, there's music that I know is objectively bad that I still like just because of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I think everybody's got that. I mean, there's a lot of bad music out there.
What the fuck do you like? Ask your mom. She can draw you pictures.
Mr. Bungle, come on. That's an early 90s kid answer right there. Late 80s, early 90s. I haven't even heard Mr. Bungle mentioned since like college.
Well, it's always funny on Lords of Night when we talk about it because Scribbles is about a decade behind us, and he likes a lot of music that I consider just trash from the 90s. And he would name off things and like, yeah, that's a song. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you so much for the donations. I will do my best to actually have things to talk about tomorrow. But again, this show is not about whether or not I have something to talk about. It's whether or not I want to hear the sound of my own voice. And that is almost always a yes. Jack, is there anything you'd like to show?
Oh, yeah. Totally spaced on that. I got a new video out today, so I'm going to drop a link for that. As always, thank you guys so much for all the support. Thank you to Evil One at Donald Camp for the donations. You guys are awesome. And thank all of you for showing up today and listening to us ramble on about circus people and music,
well,
I guess.
Ebony says this is fun, and I really do. I always have much more fun doing this kind of show than even like the video shows where we have a really good video to respond to. I like just talking.
Well, we're talking about ourselves, which, I don't know why people listen to that. We're not that interesting.
I am that interesting.
Yeah, you are. Show off.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out. Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
I'm always glad to be here.
No game stream immediately, guys. I know I said I was going to try to play Oblivion, but I've got to get some sleep. So when I wake up, I will be playing something. It'll either be 7 days or Oblivion. Check it out on Ranting Monkey Games. We always have fun over there. Check that out. And I say far worse shit than I've ever said over here. It doesn't happen often, but you have to wait for that moment. It's like that moment of Zen where it's just like he's gonna say something that nobody should ever say, and it does happen over there. Just saying.
Yeah, it's a pearl of wisdom hidden in the film. You know, you got to wait for it. You got to look for
Yes, it's always fun. Check it out, guys. Thanks for joining us. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.
it. Bye, everybody.
With arms wide open. I did that for you.